Gospel artists. Durban's Inkosi Luthuli International Convention Centre will be a hive of activity next Sunday as scores of gospel music artists and other industry players are recognised for their excellence. The best gospel song of the year will also be announced. And for more on this event, we joined live from our Durban studios by Crown Gospel Awards founder Ms. Zanele Mbokazi. Ms. Zanele Mbokazi, very good morning to you and a warm welcome to Morning Live. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Now, this is the 12th edition of the Crown Gospel Awards. 12 years on, these awards keep on getting bigger and better. But what is bigger? What is better this year around?
You know, we are the biggest gospel music awards in the African continent, not just in South Africa. And obviously, over 12 years, we have learned our lessons. We are evolving every year. We have grown from 3 categories to 30 categories. We've introduced gospel hip-hop, gospel R&B, gospel poetry, gospel jazz. So the genre itself is growing, it's developing. But also what is really interesting this year is that we've grown from just behind the microphone as in singing and realized the power of gospel music in making a difference in our country in terms of social cohesion, but also in contribution in the moral fiber of our society. As a result, this year, our entire theme is focusing on the fight against gender-based violence.
I mean, when you say that the gospel genre keeps on growing on the African continent, and you mentioned that the Crown Gospel Awards are the biggest awards or the biggest award ceremony on the continent, what would you attribute such an immense growth to gospel music to?
Look, you cannot separate gospel music from the church. We are a Christian country, even though that statement is not an official one. But Africa per se, I mean, gospel music resonates with literally everyone. You could be a domestic worker, you could be a CEO, you could be an unemployed person. Gospel music touches the soul. Gospel music transcends literally everything. So we are one of the best-selling genres as well. So, as I'm saying, we connect the people, we connect the soul, we influence, we are in the fiber of our society. You'll find a person driving to work and humming a gospel tune. And you can't separate gospel music from the church. Remember, gospel music means good news, and good news is Jesus.
And speaking of connecting with the soul, I mean, for each and everybody who enjoys gospel music, and I mean, gospel music also encapsulates the humanitarian issues, as it were. I mean, I understand that today we'll see the start of Gospel Week, wherein you'll be highlighting gender-based violence. Talk us through that. Today is really the beginning of what we call a Gospel Week. So there's going to be activities throughout the week up until Sunday next week when the awards will actually take place. Today is really a fun day. It is called the Crown Church Picnic. We are at Edgewood College next to the ICC and the Olive Convention Center. We're playing. We have soccer. We're having gospel artists playing against pastors. We have comedians playing. We have us as a woman in the church playing, taking ourselves back to our childhood memories. We're playing Three Teens, we're playing Ushumpu. It's going to be a fun day for the church. But on Thursday, that is where we really start highlighting the gender-based violence issues, not just in the broader society, but also within the church. So we will be taking to the street on Sunday. We have already seen many hashtags. We have seen marches. This time the church itself is taking to the street, and in the typical biblical manner, we are quoting scripture as in 2 Kings chapter 20, when King Jehoshaphat ordered the worshippers to take to the street, and with each walk they were singing and praising God. So this Thursday, the 21st, we will be having a Crown prayer walk where the gospel music industry, together with the church at large, will be marching and highlighting the issues around gender-based violence, not just in the society, I repeat, but also even within the church. And we're saying enough is enough. We cannot stand and watch, because as a church, the church is supposed to be the moral compass of any society. So we are highlighting that God has the answer when everything else has failed.
And it's good to see that the church is so vociferously fighting the causes on gender-based violence. And I do understand, back to the awards, I do understand that the public will only be allowed to vote for the first 5 categories, and the rest of the categories will be decided by the judges. And I suppose that not so many South Africans will be so happy with that.
Well, it's been like that for the past 12 years, really, because the biggest categories, the best gospel song, the best gospel artist, Amazayoni, and 3 others, community radio stations and commercial radio stations, that's where the public really gets to vote. And I'll encourage them to go to our Facebook pages, Crown Gospel Music Awards, to go to our Insta pages and make sure that they do cast their votes, because we don't want anybody complaining when their favorites don't win. But as I've said, we've got 30 categories. The other 25 categories are going to be judged by industry experts who have proven themselves over the years that they understand the genre, they know what they're doing. So come the 24th of November, which is next week, Sunday, we will be able to see who will eventually wear the crown.
And that's the time where we'll be immersing ourselves in the beautiful sounds of gospel music. Zanele Mbokazi, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated, and all the best.
Thank you very much. Once again, we encourage them to go to our Facebook pages, Crown Gospel Music Awards, and be able to get all the information.
Great stuff. Thank you. Well, that was Zanele Mbokazi, the founder of the Crown Gospel Music Awards, speaking to us from our Durban studios. Back to Pearl.